feels good to be back. Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. APW Sports signing in for episode 4 of season 10 of Chicago Bears Weekly. And you guys see the title. We are going to track and cover the Bears week 1 of free agency, whether it's losses, signings, releases, things like that. We're going to talk about, I'm not going to say we're going to talk about every single move because I'll be here all damn day. But we're going to talk about some key points and key things that kind of stick out to me and stick out to this Bears franchise. But before I do, make sure you guys leave this video a like as it continues to help this channel to grow and it beats the YouTube algorithm. And I want to continue the growth in 2026. And make sure you click the subscribe button, notification bell, so you not miss anything that I post. But without further ado, let's dive into it. Today's video was being brought to you by SeatGeek. Yes, football season is over, but you still have the NBA season. You still have baseball right around the corner, concerts, comedy shows. SeatGeek is your place to get your tickets. Now, let's just say I want to go to an upcoming Chicago Bulls game, me being from Chicago, and I'm going to go to that Bulls game. I'm going to select 2 tickets, and the green means good seats and good deals. The red means bad deals, and the tickets are graded on a scale of 1 through 10. And if you want to get your tickets to go to anything today, and make sure you click the link in the description and use code APW Sports for 10% at checkout. Once again, click the link in the description to save yourself 10% at checkout with SeatGeek. Now, let's get back to the video. Now, the first thing is first with this Bears free agency. I really want to tackle a lot of things that people are saying about the losses of the secondary, whether we're talking about Kevin Bryant moving on to signing with the Patriots, Jaquan Brisker moving on to sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers, whether we're talking about Nashawn Wright moving on to sign with the Jets, Jonathan Owens moving on to sign with the Indianapolis Colts, and then C.J. Gardner-Johnson joining DJ Moore with the Buffalo Bills. Now, you guys got to look at this Bears secondary as it was in 2025. Yes, it was a key piece, a key part to why the Bears actually led the league in takeaways with 33. But when you're talking about this Bears team, as far as the scheme goes and as far as what Dennis Allen wants to play, and we've seen it especially through the later part of the 2025 season. Dennis Allen would like to play a ton of man defense. And you're talking about a passing defense that ranked 22nd in the NFL. Yes, Kevin Bryant led the league in interceptions. Nashawn Wright led the league in takeaways. But when you scale the things back off of the takeaways, this Bears defense, you got to go watch the film, you got to go watch the games or the highlights or whatever. Defense didn't held up well in man coverage. They didn't fit the scheme that Dennis Allen ultimately wanted to run, which is a good amount of man coverage. And they continue to get burnt. Do you guys remember the Lions game? Week 2, they couldn't get stops. They couldn't even get off the field. 49ers, a depleted 49ers team, their secondary couldn't stop them. Yeah, we had the pick 6 at the first play of the game, but outside of that, pass defense wasn't great. And then on top of that, a lot of people are going to say Tremaine, Edmunds, the releasing of him, but I think costing $15 million against the Caps, and he also has some deficiencies in coverage and some deficiencies against the run with Dennis Allen's scheme. And then on top of that, you have a $15 million cap hold. It was inevitable that you were going to be out of the door. So yes, I've seen a lot of the comments and I've seen a lot of the things that the people have been saying and Bears fans have been saying their disappointment in letting the secondary go. Pretty much majority of it outside of Jaylon Johnson and outside of Kyler Gordon. There's going to be a brand new secondary in Chicago. And speaking of that brand new secondary, you're going to add a guy like a Coby Bryant on a 3-year, $40 million deal from the Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks. One thing that he is younger. One thing that he is, I think to me, when you watch Coby Bryant and the way he plays football, yes, he's very physical. On safety, yes, he can turn the ball over, but when you watch him, I think he's like a younger version of what we had in Kevin Bryant. And he brings that pop, he brings that experience in a defense like this, and he can fly around the football field. And Coby Bryant made plays for probably the best defense that we had in 2025, and that was the Seattle Seahawks. And then I'm speaking of the releasing of Tremaine Edmunds. You bring in a guy, Devin Bush, on a 3-year, $30 million deal. You save $5 million in cap. 1, 2. Devin Bush is younger. 2, 3, I think Devin Bush, he's more of a physical boy. He's better, I think, in coverage than when we're talking about a Tremaine Edmunds, who, yes, he had the interceptions numbers, but I think we're talking about just pure covering linebacker. I think Devin Bush performed better as far as coverage, and I think he brings a lot to this Dennis Allen scheme. He's been a very productive player throughout his career, and he brings a lot to this defense. And speaking of the defense, this team shelled out a couple of contracts for defense. Neville Gallimore, 2-year, $10 million. Kentavious Street, now, the time we recording this, the numbers and things are not out, but it is a 1-year deal for him to bolster up that defensive front along with Gallimore. Then you have a guy like a Cam Lewis who's going to be like that Jonathan Owens, who they also let go, which I didn't speak of earlier. The special teams type of guy that comes in and brings a lot to your defense. We're talking about having a guy like a Coby Bryant to pair with a Devin Bush to boost up the interior up front. And then it took me a while to actually remember this myself. Bears fans also have to remember that they did bring in Dayo Odunze last year, who ended up missing a good portion of the season with an Achilles injury. But when you pay him the amount of money you pay him and you want him to produce, yeah, a lot of people are going to be disappointed that we didn't go after Max Crosby, but the Bears are in a salary cap mess right now, and Odunze's contract was part of the reason. I think just getting healthy with Odunze, pairing them with Gallimore, pairing them with Street, pairing them with Javon Dexter, who I think is getting better every single year. Grady Jarrett, yeah, he's getting a little older, but he brings that veteran leadership. On top of that, on the defensive side of the ball, you do bring back DeMarco Jackson, who filled in when basically this linebacker core was depleted, whether it was Sewell, who also was coming back off an injury, TJ Edwards, who was also coming back off an injury. He played very well for the spell time that he did have. You bring DeMarco Jackson back on a 2-year, $7.5 million deal. And you bring back safety Elijah Hicks on a 1-year deal with $2.6 million. So you have some familiarity there. And I've liked Elijah Hicks, the spell time that he did see, whether it was Brisker or spelling for a guy like Kevin Bryant. He's been solid for this Bears team. Now, the re-signing of Braxton Jones on the offensive line is a bit of a head-scratcher to me, and this is why. He was benched mid-season, and it looked, if you watched the game, I think this is the Raiders game, he was benched in, and the offensive line seemed to have taken a step. The run game for the Bears seemed to have taken a step forward with the benching of Braxton Jones, and you bring him back on a 1-year, $5 million deal. I question that. I really question bringing Braxton Jones back. Yes, it's a 1-year prove-it deal. You do have the injury to Ozzie Trapillo, which probably is going to keep him out for most of the year, if not all of it. But you also bring in a guy like a Jedrick Wills. Yes, Jedrick Wills has some injury problems. Yes, Jedrick Wills is talented. That's one thing I will say. When he's healthy, he is a very good tackle, pass protected tackle, first-round pick, former first-round pick of 2020. It's just the fact of, can he stay healthy? And then on top of that, you bring back Jordan McFadden, who I think had a really impressive showing in the playoff divisional round against the Rams on a 1-year, $1.3 million deal. Now, it's interesting to see. I think he's probably going to be more of the swing lineman, more of the guy that comes in, and more of the replacement type of a player. But when he was in against the Rams, and the Rams have a really good defensive front with a Fisk, with the verse, he really performed well on that offensive line. And then also you bring back Theo Benedette on a 1-year deal. I still see the Braxton Jones move as a head scratcher. Then on the offensive line, speaking of it, let's continue that. We know that we lost Drew Dalman to retirement, but the picking up of Garrett Bradbury, I think, is one of those moves it doesn't cost a lot, but you can get a high reward. We got him in a trade with the Patriots. He has 1 year left on his contract. He's lacking less than $10 million as a center, and he was a very good part of why that Patriots offensive line was so well with the running game later on in the year. It didn't let up a sack. It hurts that we lose Drew Dalman, but I personally believe that Garrett Bradbury is a guy that can fill in and play a significant role and be a really good replacement for Drew Dalman. On the offensive side of the ball, sticking to it, the Bears signed Khalif Raymond, who basically is going to be like what we thought Zacchaeus was going to be, and also provide on the special teams like a Devin Duvernay did, who we ended up losing to the Cardinals. Also, Khalif Raymond brings familiarity with Ben Johnson as he spent his career with Detroit Lions. So when we're talking about this Bears free agency class, I think a lot of fans are going to say, oh, we don't have the big name. Oh, we didn't shell out the big bucks. This is a Bears team you guys got to remember. It's coming off an 11-6 record. Yeah, the defense wasn't great, but you're coming off an 11-6 record. And on top of that, you're in a salary cap situation where aren't able to spend as much as you want. Now, of course, like I said earlier, the entire Max Crosby situation. Yes, who doesn't want Max Crosby on your team? I personally believe that when the Bears ended up trading DJ Moore to the Buffalo Bills, which is the thing that I covered on this channel. I'm not going to speak on it too much here. Once you trade DJ Moore to the Buffalo Bills, I think that kind of took them out of the Max Crosby sweepstakes, because I think if you were going to have to do that, you were going to have to put DJ Moore's contract in there or Montez Sweat's contract in a trade for a guy like a Max Crosby, because of the salary cap situation that you were dealing with this offseason. And speaking of the salary cap, the Bears at this point now only have $2 million in salary cap space left. I think we can expect some contracts being restructured. I still think there's more moves at the time of me recording this video, and I still think the Bears are not done yet as far as shaking things up in free agency. Another thing that I want to point out with this Bears week in free agency is that you bring back a couple of guys that were key parts of your team. Now, Case Keenum, yes, we know he didn't see a part of play, but bringing him back on a 2-year, $5.5 million deal means a lot as far as the continuing of the development of Caleb Williams, because he's not a finished product. Yes, he had a tremendous second year and probably one of the better years in Bears quarterback history, but he still needs tutelage, he still needs developing, and what better guy to bring back than a veteran who's been around the league like Case Keenum to have in your quarterback room. Now, it's not going to produce, he's not going to produce on the field, sure say, but man, that's going to provide a lot in that quarterback room, and that is going to be very, very key. Yes, the Bears didn't splash on some of those big names. They lost basically almost the entire secondary. I think you can add to that in the draft. I would do probably a mock draft later on and down the line. I think you could add to this defensive front in the draft. I think when we're talking about the Bears on the offensive side with weapons, me personally, maybe add a running back. I don't think so. I think they're good as far as the weapons go. I think the offensive line is solid. I think the Bears should be focusing on defense, and defense when we're talking about the moves they need to make and talking about the upcoming draft. But overall, I'll give the Bears a solid B for free agency. You lost a couple of guys. You lost Drew Dalman. At this point, you replace Dalman with Garrett Bradbury. You trade DJ Moore, which for Bears fans, it sucks as far as the whole Packers situation goes. You're talking about this Bears free agency team, or the Bears free agency part of this point with the first week. You do bring in some defensive improvements. You do get younger. You do get Khalif Raymond to help with special teams, to help with things on the offensive side of the ball. I still think the Bears are in very good shape heading into the draft. So I give it a B. But those are my thoughts on the first week of Bears free agency. And make sure you guys hit this video, like, comment, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And I will catch you guys in the next one. APW Sports signing out. Peace.